Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show where I answer questions, discuss topics, and all that jazz. The game in the background today is The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim, with some particularly interesting mods installed. The first one that you'll probably either be sick of within 5 minutes or really want to get is Immersive First Person, which basically places the camera where it should be on your actual body, rather than somewhere in the center of your chest that the game puts it. It can be a bit motion sickening at times, so if you don't like the background music, if you don't like the background video, the music is my voice, which hopefully you do like, otherwise you wouldn't be here. If you don't like the background video, then I recommend just minimizing the browser and just listening, because as always, I am not going to be referring to the game at all during this. It's just a bit of background entertainment for those who want it. On with the questions. The first one comes in from Nicola. Hey there, Harv. Here are my questions for your series, of which I chose Why No Mods? Well, I guess you're referring to Kerbal Space Program, because as you can see from Skyrim, I do indeed like mods. And in general, I do indeed like mods. I have absolutely nothing against modding. In fact, I think it's fantastic. I really like the idea, and several times I've considered installing mods in KSP. But I never have, or recently, I mean I have before, but certainly in the past year or so I haven't made any videos with mods in KSP. Because I really don't entirely know for sure, but I'm going to try and vocalize some ideas I've had. So to start with, there are so many possibilities in KSP. It's an open sandbox, and more than just an open sandbox, it's an open solar system. An entire solar system of planets that is regularly updated with new features, meaning that the possibilities are pretty much endless. And believe it or not, in all the time that I've been playing KSP, which is a very long time, there is still a lot of stuff that I haven't done. I haven't legitimately landed on Moho and returned yet. I haven't legitimately landed on Elu and returned yet. I haven't made a low orbiting solar space station yet. I could go on. There's tons of things that you can do in the vanilla game without resorting to mods like Keythane or whatever to add more gameplay opportunities. Those gameplay opportunities might be more fun, but I feel that I'm saving them, because eventually I will run out of things to do in KSP, or perhaps not I will run out of things to do, but I will certainly run out of fun things to do in KSP. When that happens, suddenly there's the entire world of modding that I've been ignoring that I can go and enjoy without feeling like KSP has ran out of things for me to do. And on the flip side, modding can also make things easier. That's not entirely true. I mean, there are a lot of mods that just add features rather than making things easier, but to an extent, it's more of a challenge to try and do the same things that mods do in the vanilla game. Like when we were struggling to dock things on the ground with our Jeb the custom refueler, or whatever he was called, trying to refuel that plane. People were saying, oh, just get the Kerbal attachment system, or whatever the mod's called, and you can just draw fuel lines between them, and it's much easier. Exactly. Doesn't that kind of remove the challenge of building a custom refueler that can navigate the incredibly difficult terrain that we've placed our plane on and actually manage to dock, to have to build something so precise that it works and overcomes the game's bugs? I mean, it's unfair, because they're bugs in the game. It should be really easy, and it's the game that's lacking features that mods fix that. But even though it's unfair on me, it's still a challenge, and that appeals to me. Also, finally, I think it appeals to you to a degree. Not using mods is something that kind of separates me from other people. No, off the top of my head, I can't think of any other KSP YouTuber that I talk to a lot, besides Danny, who does a completely different style of video to what I do, so I don't think he really counts, that doesn't use mods. And I've seen a lot of comments about how people watch me because they like not having that modded experience. They want something they can relate to easily, to relate to their own experiences without having to install all those mods. And it's interesting seeing me work around the different mod issues and still come up with things to do without resorting to modding. And there you go, that's pretty much all I can think of. I'm not against modding, I think it's fantastic. I will be modding at some point. Actually, come to think of it, yeah, I will be modding at some point. How about I mod a game? I could do, I mean not a game, I could mod KSP. There are a few ideas that I'd like. For instance, I'd like to see a mod that changes the way Kerbals standing up is coded. So currently Kerbals can stand on the surface of any planet or on the surface of any asteroid, some sort of gravitational body. As long as there's a gravitational force bringing them down onto a surface, then they'll be able to stand up. I'd like to change that so that it's any force. So if there is a force that's within the required parameters for them to be able to stand up and walk around against the surface, they should be able to stand up and walk around. And the main reason I want that is just so I can, mainly so I can walk around inside my artificial gravity ring. Because that would be a force that is within the required parameters. Something outside the required parameters would make them fall over, you know, or go ragdoll. For instance, you couldn't just walk on the side of a building if you were thrusting, you know, something was pushing you into the building a lot hard enough. I mean, you could, but the resultant force would probably be too far downwards because gravity is there. You know, something that manages that well. That's a mod that I'd like to see. And if no one can make that, then I'll probably look into it myself. Or ask the devs. Seeing as I'm in contact with the devs, hey, that'd be good, wouldn't it? I think I actually already have mentioned it, but I can't remember what they said. Well, I say they, I can't remember what C7 said specifically. But those are my thoughts on modding. Thank you very much for the question. Next one comes in from James. What would be your perfect space game and why? What features would it have? I think once before I've said that my perfect space game would be a combination of KSP and StarMade. But to add to that list, I think my actual perfect one would be some sort of mixture between Kerbal Space Program, StarMade, and Faster Than Light, FTL. FTL Advanced Captain's Edition, perhaps. I haven't made any videos on FTL, but I might do in the future, who knows? Maybe that's something that I can just do a Let's Play, a one-off video on. But, yeah, there's a game that is currently in development, and I was in contact with the developer of it, called Rodina, or Rodina, or however you pronounce the word. And essentially you go from planet to planet, getting upgrades for your spacecraft, and finding story pieces to progress the plot. And these upgrades mean that you get faster engines that allow you to travel to further away bodies. And it's a great idea for a game, but I was talking to him, and the main question I wanted to ask him was, why did you not implement a Newtonian physics engine? Because the way the game works is that you get these upgrades that make your engine powerful enough to move you from planet to planet, rather than just planet to nearby asteroid. And then eventually, like, just to scale it up, it would be from sun to sun, you know, star, interstellar, interplanetary, interstellar, that kind of gap in your range that you can go to. And that makes sense from a game mechanic point of view, but from a physical point of view, it should be perfectly possible to go to each one. Because force equals mass times acceleration, not force equals mass times speed. There's no top speed other than light. Just having a weaker engine just means it'll take you longer to accelerate to the speed required. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that it's impossible for you to get there. And that's what this game did. So there was a top speed, a really low top speed, on the thrusters, on the low level engines. And I said, why is that? It makes combat feel artificial, especially when you're going from a high-speed engine mode, and then you drop down to a low-speed engine mode. And somehow, the act of changing your engine mode slows you down instantly from like 500 meters per second to 100 meters per second. It's not realistic, and it really grated on me. It didn't grate on other people. In fact, the vast majority of people it won't grate on, because the point of the game, and this was the developer's response, the point of the game isn't to simulate something realistic, it's just to be a space combat game. And that's fair enough. But my perfect space game would implement a Newtonian physics engine. It would be based on proper principles. It would probably use simplified orbital mechanics because it's not KSP, my perfect game. KSP is very much a simulator, a space simulator. This would be a combat game, or an RPG, or something like that. Something with some sort of progression other than just, you are clever enough to get to these places. I want that to come into it, because that's amazing, that's what I love about KSP. But also I like the StarMade, where you go about finding space stations and combating other people. The FTL, where you have inner system management, where you divert power to different things. Kind of like Mech Warrior, and that Iron Man game, where you divert power throughout your suit. Something like that, some sort of RPG, where you go out and collect resources and then use those resources to upgrade parts or to develop parts, and you can modularly design your own ships from the available parts you have. Something like that. I want that game so badly. Just talking about it gets me excited. Something to that extent would be nice. If you know of games like what I've just rambled on about for the past 5 minutes, then tell me and I will check them out. Thank you very much for the question. And the final question today comes in from Jacob. How much do you play video games outside of your channel, and what games do you play? Well, if you haven't got this tab minimized, what you can see in the background is what I'm currently playing, Skyrim, The Elder Scrolls V5. I love Skyrim, and the only reason I've been playing Skyrim recently is because of Enter Elysium's series, and because of my mod development. I made that follower mod, which a lot of people seem to like, which is nice. I'm glad you do. Bit weird. It's a bit weird. Especially when I was testing it. I was just getting annoyed with myself. Move over here, Harv. And what might that be? No, move over here. Hi there. Oh, shut up. Very interesting. Yeah, so how much do I play games outside of my channel? Not a lot. Typically not a lot. It varies. It massively varies. Right now I'm on my Easter holidays, so I'm playing quite a lot. And I'm playing mainly Skyrim. Previously, throughout school time, I barely at all. In fact, about a year ago, or about 6 months ago, when I was at the height of my KSP video making career, I didn't play KSP video making phase. I didn't play any games other than KSP, and whenever I played KSP, it was because I was recording. I hope that answers your question. There's not an awful lot of time right now. Over the summer holidays, I'll probably be playing other games, but I like to try and record everything I play. I can't, because majority of the times, the reason I play games is because I don't have... The reason I play games rather than recording is because I do it in the time where something restricts me from recording. Say that my family is asleep and they don't want me shouting or commentating, really loud voice. Or because I'm rendering a video and I want to play a little bit of Attack on Titan in the meantime. It's that kind of thing. And yes, that's another game that I'm playing, Attack on Titan. That tribute game that was the background footage to the previous, or the first episode of All That Jazz, and I made a video on. Annotation is probably on screen right now. So yeah, I'm looking for new games to play, both for the channel and just for my own entertainment. Really want them to release Mirror's Edge 2. That should be coming. That should be coming quite soon. But that's about it. That is it for the questions, actually. Only 3 questions, and it's only taken me 14 minutes to answer them. Ah well, 14 minutes is long enough. So yes, thank you all for the questions. Hope they answered them enough. If you would like to send in any questions, you can do so via Twitter at can't talk. There's something stopping me from talking properly. It's really annoying. You can send in your questions on Twitter at HOCgamer or via email hocgaming@live.co.uk. That is hocgaming@live.co.uk. Questions are supposed to be related to gaming, although recently I've had a lot of questions that are just like, what sandwiches do you like? And stuff like that. Please keep them related to gaming. It was kind of difficult choosing these questions, because A lot of them were very much off topic. Gaming in general, I'm happy with gaming in general. Or something perhaps related to space science, because I can talk quite enthusiastically about that as well. Otherwise, that's it for me. Thank you for watching this show where I answer questions, discuss topics, and all that jazz. I'll see you all next time.